Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, then welcome. My name's Christina, and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences, and it is about time that we do another empties video. I like to do empties videos every quarter to show you guys what I have finished up and share with you all of my thoughts, if there are things that I've loved, if there are things I will repurchase, or if there are things that I'm just gonna pass on in the future. And I love to do these. I feel like it really gives you guys some insight on products throughout their lifespan and kind of how they work for me. And I don't know, it just reminds me of old school YouTube. So if you guys are interested to see what I have finished up in this quarter, then let's get started. So I have it broken down from makeup, skincare, hair care, and body care as well. I feel like we don't have as much as we did last quarter, but I think that the things that we have here, I have a really good grasp on my thoughts on them. And I feel like overall, it was pretty much a hit with everything. So first off, I want to start with makeup. First off, I want to talk about something that I feel like I have been using for a very long time now. It is the Kosas Comfy Cloud Set Powder. It's in the shade Comfy, but it's the Cloud Set Powder, and this is actually just a mini. I do have a full size as well in the shade Pillowy, but Comfy is actually a way better shade match for myself, and I have completely finished this up. It looks like there's still a ring of product here. There probably is a little bit that I can kind of grab from, but pretty much this thing is done. First of all, really love the fact that this comes in a mini. I feel like this is perfect for travel size, and I love that this is a small travel size because this powder for me is ideal as being a blotting powder and a finishing powder. So I do have oily skin. I do tend to powder my face throughout the day, and I need to set my face and finish it when I finish my makeup, but I also have to blot throughout the day. And this is the most perfect, softest finishing and blotting powder ever. I love that it's this baked formulation, so it gives you a really thin veil of powder, so it never looks cakey on the skin. And even as a blotting powder, it gets rid of all of my excess shine, but it doesn't completely mattify the skin. And you guys know I love sort of a dewy, more hydrated looking finish, even though I am oily. So this is perfect whenever I need to blot out a little bit of excess oil, but I don't want to completely get rid of it. I promise you guys, this will never ever look cakey on you, and as long as you get the correct shade match, because I find that with Pillowy it can be a little bit dark, so sometimes it looks a little blotchy, but I would recommend going like a shade lighter than you anticipate you're gonna be. And as long as you do that, this is going to look super flawless and airbrushed on the skin. I really enjoy this. I can see myself getting the full size, but honestly I enjoyed this so much as a mini because I could easily throw it into my purse that I will most likely repurchase this as a mini. I finished up one of my Kosas Brow Pop Nanos. This is in the shade Brown Black, and I absolutely love this brow pencil. Ever since I found out about it a couple of years ago, I want to say it was sometime last year, I have not been able to put down this brow pencil. I have tons of backups of this brow pencil. Everything about it is perfection. It is one of those super micro fine tip brow pencils. And the brown black shade is the perfect shade for my eyebrows. I do have black eyebrows. However, I find that if I just go straight on black with my eyebrow pencils, it just looks a little bit too harsh, a little bit more contrasty on my face than what I would like it to be. So this brown black in between is perfect to just kind of make it look like I have more brow hairs without darkening my entire eyebrow. I love the tip of this because it's so fine. It allows me to get right in between each brow hair and coat my skin rather than draw on top of my eyebrow hairs. And the spoolie is very thin and it's pretty stiff, which I personally really enjoy about it because it allows me to blend out any of the brush strokes that I make without it getting all over the place. This is truly such a good brow pencil. I continue to repurchase this, and every time there's a sale, I do stock up on this, and I can't see myself using another one or replacing this anytime soon. I could definitely add to my brow collection, but I can't see this leaving my brow collection anytime soon. Another brow product here, we have the Maybelline Build-A-Brow in the shade Black Brown. So again, it is right in between black and brown, the perfect eyebrow pencil shade for me. And this one actually is a pen. So you can see here, it does have that like feather tip pencil right there. As you guys saw, there was still a little bit of product in there, but that was about the extent of it. I find that this one is starting to really dry out. So I went ahead and I replaced it. And also one of the big things about this, I didn't realize it until very recently, is that the silver on this is starting to like chip off and get all over my fingers whenever I used it. So I decided it was about time to retire this specific pen. So I repurchased the same pen in the same color, but this one I tossed into my empties basket. But I really enjoy this pen. I love how fine this tip is. It never skips. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that with eyebrow pens, but whenever you go to create your eyebrow hairs, sometimes it can kind of skip and sometimes it'll kind of bleed and give you a little bit too much product. I never had that issue with this one. The tip was always nice and fine. It didn't like fray out or anything like that. And it's really easy before it dries down to take a spoolie if you want a little heavy-handed and like brush it in and kind of fix your mistakes with it. I really enjoy this one. I will, however, say I could probably live without this sealant. I didn't really find that the sealant did much for my brow hairs. It didn't really hold them up. It didn't really like shape them that much. If anything, it allowed me to put it into shape to draw in the brows and then go in with a separate eyebrow gel. But other than that, I mean, I like the spoolie itself. I like how small it was, and I was able to kind of use this to like brush the pen strokes through. But I really enjoy this one. It's still my favorite eyebrow pen. I think it's so inexpensive and it's really good for if you want that really clean brow look and you want to really cater and customize the feathery look of your brows. Oh, and it's also really great if you like to laminate your brows too and get like those fine eyebrow strokes. Another empty I feel like took me a very long time to go through is actually the Caliray So Blown Clean Blurring Primer. This one I feel like I started using a very long time ago, and even though I used it pretty consistently, it lasted me a really long time because you don't need a lot of this primer. When I initially started using it, I just thought, okay, this is a pretty good primer. Like it feels hydrating, it feels smoothing, but the more and more I would use it, the more and more I fell in love with it. It's not only a very hydrating primer, but it's also actually very blurring on the skin. It allows my pores to kind of get filled in by the primer, and because of that, it smooths out my skin and preps it really well for foundation, concealer, any color corrector that I used on top of it. It just gave me such an even canvas. It slightly has a similar texture to a silicone primer. However, I don't find it's as slippery as one. I feel like this one actually dries down really nice on the skin, and it's somewhere in between being a moisturizer texture and being slightly like that silicone texture. And I really enjoyed that because it just, again, allowed me to have a really smooth canvas, and it seemed like every product that I put on top of it just smoothed on really well. And this actually absorbs into the skin, so it doesn't feel like you have a greasy residue on your face. I really loved using this with pretty much any foundation that I wore, but especially with more dewy foundations, because I found that this sort of helped those dewier foundations stick better onto my oily skin. And it helped with the longevity as well of all of my makeup because I feel like it slightly controlled my oils. I don't think it's the best oil controlling primer, but it definitely did its job whenever you paired it with like a setting powder and a setting spray. So I really enjoyed this. They did already send me a backup and I have already opened that one and started to use it. Next up is one of my holy grail concealers. This is the Kulfi Main Match Concealer in the shade Mango Drop. And you guys, I know I had talked about this all the time. I have talked y'all's ears off about this concealer, but for good reason. It truly is one of the best concealers. It's one of those that whenever I first tried it, the very first time I tried it, I knew already that it was going to be one of my go-tos, one of the concealers that I reach for all the the time, and I was right. I reached for this literally all the time. It has the most perfect finish to it. So first of all, the pigmentation on this and the actual coverage that this gives you, I would say it's a medium to full buildable coverage. I could definitely get full coverage if I layered it on top of itself, but for everyday use, I pretty much had like a medium coverage with it. It was perfect if I wanted to spot conceal and only use concealer throughout the day, and it was also perfect when I wanted to pair it with my foundations and just like a full face of makeup. I would say as far as concealers go, this was a perfect match. It was slightly lighter than my skin tone, but it almost was to the point where it just kind of brightened up my face without looking like it was the wrong shade, you know? Like it was almost the exact same shade as my face, but slightly brighter. And because of the finish of it, I would say had a satin matte finish. It's slightly hydrating whenever you put it on, of course, because it is a liquid, but when it dried down, it almost had this like hydrating satin matte look to it. I definitely did have to powder this down to set it down, but if you have normal skin, if you have dry skin, I could see this doing really well and drying down by itself without the need of powder. But if you have oily skin like I do, I still found that I had to set this down, but it set down beautifully and it didn't turn into this super matte concealer. Like it still had a really nice dewy finish to it, or I would say satin finish to it. I just really enjoy this. I cannot say enough good things about this concealer. And again, it lasted me such a long time. It pretty much layered well with everything. I can't remember a time where this didn't work well with a primer or it didn't work well with a foundation. It truly is one of those concealers where if you're not sure what to use, you can just easily grab this and you know every single time that it's going to work really well for you. And the last Sephora sale, I picked up a backup and I just recently opened that one up whenever I chucked this one into my empties basket. Okay, now we're moving into skincare. Now I am testing skincare constantly, and while I always have the biggest bulk of my empties being skincare, it still surprises me every time how much I have because I'm just constantly testing them. But because of that, because I'm always using these skincare products, I feel like I have a really good grasp of what works with what and what each skincare product does for me. So starting off with this City Lips Night Oil, there's a little bit here in the tip, as you can see, but I can't even reach it with the doe foot anymore. And I've tried to like shake it to get the product out, but it's pretty thick in there. I'm gonna try to continue to get the product out, but as you guys can see, this thing is pretty much done. And I absolutely loved this lip oil. I talked about this in my huge like lip oil video where I'm talking about every lip oil I owned. And I have talked about this previously when they've sponsored me, but I'm telling you guys, this is not sponsored, and I completely use this up because I genuinely really like this lip oil. So I can say that this lip oil replaced all of my night lip masks, like my Laneige sleeping mask, my Fenty lip mask, all of the lip masks that I typically would use at nighttime after my skincare. This replaced it, and that was super shocking to me, honestly, because I love a good lip mask. It's like the only thing that will keep my lips moisturized and not flaky or chapped or anything like that. But when I started using this, I felt no need to use my lip masks at night. And even in the morning, whenever I would do my skincare routine afterwards, I usually would put my lip masks on. I use this instead. I would just put a little bit on here. I was good to go. I loved the way that this like absorbed into the lips overnight. I didn't find that it slipped and slid all over my lips overnight. I would wake up and I would still have a slight layer of this lip oil on my lips, and my lips felt really hydrated. One of my favorite things about this lip oil though is it has exfoliating factors in it. So it does have like a chemical exfoliant in it. And I found that I actually didn't have to exfoliate my lips as often while I was using this, which was a big plus. I love a lip scrub, you know, like they're really nice and they always get my lips back to like a restart type of thing. But I found that I like didn't get crusty lips or like dry cracked lips with this. I probably only scrubbed my lips maybe, a handful of times while I was using this in the last couple of months. So I really like this. It is pretty expensive though, I will say. It's, I believe, $39, which is pricey for lip oil. I will admit that. But because I liked it so much and I actually finished it, considering how many lip oils I own, that's really impressive to me. So I'm definitely considering repurchasing this because it was so convenient, it worked so well, and it was so no fuss. So yeah, I love this. I love this so much. Another skincare product I could not get enough of, as you can see right here, I did cut this packaging. This is the Skin 1004 Madagascar Centella Hyla Cica Water Fit Sun Serum. Basically, it's a sunscreen and it's the one with the blue cap. They do have several different kinds, but this one specifically, the one with the blue cap, is the one I finished up and definitely one of my new holy grails when it comes to sunscreen. So I did end up cutting this open. I saw a video within the last couple of months where someone was cutting their empties to see how much product was still in there, and there was still a good amount of product in there. And I thought to myself, why am I not doing this? Why am I not cutting my products open and using every last drop? I thought I was using every single thing, but now I'm like kind of questioning myself after doing that with this. But anyways, I cut this open and I had a good amount of uses left, at least a week's worth of use left in this product. So yeah, I cut it open, and whenever I would like grab product and afterwards, I would just put this back on here like that. It looks like a little mini. It's so cute. But I really enjoy this sunscreen. You guys know I love an Asian sunscreen. I just think that they are superior in terms of texture, in terms of wear, in terms of the amount of joy I get from using the sunscreens, you know? I just feel like they feel more like moisturizers, and it doesn't feel as off-putting as some of our Western sunscreens here that can feel a little bit thicker, a little bit more like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, more like sunscreen. But this, again, one of my absolute favorites. This definitely feels like a really light lotion type of moisturizer. It left no white cast, and because it's more of that hydrating sunscreen, it really left my skin looking plump and looking very supple. I have tried, and I do own the other sunscreen from them that has like the tan cap. That one is supposed to be for oily skin, so I thought I would really enjoy that one as well. However, I found that one was slightly more of a dry texture, and I surprisingly didn't like that one as much. And it also left me with a bit of a white cast. Like my skin looked a little bit grayish purple after using it. I gave it a couple of tries, but I decided it just wasn't for me. And this actually is my second tube of this sunscreen. I don't have another one of this one, and I would like to repurchase another one. However, I have a lot of sunscreens that I need to go through and a lot of sunscreens I need to test. So until then, I am going to put a pause on purchasing another one of these, but just know that I'm definitely in the future going to be buying another one because I just love this sunscreen. A couple of empties that I have in every single empties video. I'm not gonna go over it too long. You guys know my Tire 28 SOS Daily Rescue Facial Spray. It's a hypochlorous acid spray. It is my favorite. I think that it works so well to restore my skin barrier and just help with any irritation, help with any breakouts. And my PanOxyl 4% creamy wash. I use this every night. I slather on a really thick layer, almost like a mask in the shower, and I let it sit before I really like lather it up on my face. This helps to prevent any breakouts. It also helps to diminish any acne that I have going on. It's great for hormonal acne, but it's also great for like bacterial acne as well. These two, I cannot live without these. These are lifesavers for my skin. I did finish up my Dr. Althea Vitamin C Boosting Serum 20%. I've talked about this vitamin C quite a few times in several different videos, but this is my go-to vitamin C. It is a Korean brand, and this is very, very gentle yet super effective. The thing I love the most about this is the texture of it. I find that whenever I spread this onto the skin, it feels very light like a serum, and it actually absorbs into the skin without becoming sticky like some vitamin C's can feel on the skin. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but I hate when a vitamin C kind of like sticks, like if you take your fingers and it just like sticks to your cheeks, you know? I hate that feeling. This does not do that for me. And not only does it have a really enjoyable feel to it, but it's very effective. This is the first vitamin C that I have fully used multiple bottles of because I actually feel like it gets rid of a lot of stubborn hyperpigmentation. It gets rid of a lot of old post-acne scars that I never thought would like disappear on my skin. And I'm talking like years of acne scars. I used to have a huge cluster of acne scars here for years. And once I started using this very consistently, I found that it very quickly, after a couple of weeks, just started to slowly fade away until it was completely gone. That is what sold me, and that is what continues to make me buy bottles of this, because I'm just finding that the evenness of my skin tone is just like no other since I started having a lot of bad like acne scarring. And yeah, it just works incredibly well with stubborn hyperpigmentation. So I highly recommend this, especially if you're struggling with a lot of like post-acne scarring that just does not go away. Another product that I think has been standout for a lot of my bad hyperpigmentation is the Sun By Me Retinol Intense Active Serum. This one is my go-to retinol because it was formulated for sensitive skin. And if you tend to be really sensitive to retinols and you have a lot of acne, such as myself, then I would highly recommend you check this out. This does have a blend of retinol, retinol, and bakuchi oil in it. So this really allows your skin to get all of the benefits from all of those products without the crazy effects of retinol, you know? Like I have zero irritation from this. And granted, I have been using this for quite some time. So I would say that when you first start off, go really slowly, use it once every week and then move up to twice and then 3 times, you know, just listen to whatever your skin is telling you. But I really enjoy this for evening out my skin tone. I feel like it's really helped to tighten up my pores. Of course, it doesn't like nothing really makes your pores smaller, but I feel like it helps with the appearance of my pores and overall texture of my skin. I just feel like every time I use this, the morning after, my skin looks so smooth and so healthy and bright. I absolutely love this. And also, I love this purple packaging. I really, really enjoy this. I have already repurchased it and I highly recommend if you have sensitive skin, if you want to test out more retinol, but sometimes your skin can be really sensitive to it, I would recommend testing this one out. I genuinely really enjoy it. Every morning after I use this retinol, I find that my skin looks so hydrated, so smooth, the texture, and it also just looks healthier, just overall looks healthier and more supple. This is another empty that took me a very long time to go through. This is the Naturie Hatomugi Skin Conditioner. This is a Japanese brand. It's a skincare brand, and this is a hydrating but acne fighting toner. So they call them lotions, but essentially here we call them toners. And I absolutely loved using this toner. I thought it was really great to use as like a DIY sheet mask. I would put this on cottons and I would just put it all over my face, let it sit for 10-15 minutes, and then that was like a great sheet mask. But you can also use it just as you normally would with a toner after you cleanse your face before any of your serums. Just put a little bit of this into your hands and pat it onto your face. And I found that this was such a hydrating toner, but it never felt heavy. It actually helps with a lot of like irritation, and it helps to relieve your skin barrier, which in turn helps with like acne if you're acne prone like myself. Hatomugi is actually an ingredient that really, really helps with acne because it's super hydrating and soothing to the skin. I actually ended up putting this into like a mister bottle. So I poured all of this into a mister bottle and I would just spray my entire face and my chest with it. And it feels really cooling. You know you've used enough whenever your face actually feels cool, and it absorbs into the skin. It doesn't pill or anything. Again, it doesn't feel heavy, never broke me out. And I genuinely just really like this. I find that going at it with a more gentle approach by hydrating the skin sometimes really helped with with my acne versus attacking it really aggressively with like my salicylic acid and my benzoyl peroxide products. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes some of my acne does call for those products, but when it came to like my overall skin just getting a little irritated, I found that hydrating my skin was the best move. So I really enjoyed this, and actually my last trip to Japan that I recently went on, I purchased another bottle of this, and I only purchased one bottle because these will last you forever. I have some pimple patches here to talk to you guys about. This is the Purito All Care Recovery Cica-Aid Soothing and Cica-Care at Once pimple patches. Now these come in two different sizes. You can see right here the 10mm and the 12mm one, and there are 51 patches in each pack. So this does last a very long time for me. I really enjoyed these specifically because they are actually very, very thin. So it was very invisible on the skin. Like you can hardly tell that it's on there. I will say that for me personally, with any pimple patch, if I put makeup on top of it, you can see it. But if I was just doing no makeup that day, just my skincare, you could barely see these pimple patches, and I really like that about them. And the adhesion on this one was really good. Sometimes, like if I had pimples in my hairline, if I had to take it out, it would like pull my hair because it was that strong of an adhesion. But I liked these because you guys know when it comes to my pimple patches, I don't like just hydrocolloid patches. I like something that has skincare ingredients in them. So this one had centella in it, so it helped to soothe the skin and just calm that irritation. It says that it would help to soothe compromised skin, reduce inflammation by flattening acne and reducing acne scarring all at once. So I feel like it did that. I felt like whenever I would use this, I had very minimal acne scarring, and this paired with my vitamin C, I pretty much don't have lasting acne whenever I use this. Is it the best at sucking out all the gunk of my pimples? Probably not, but I will say that it was very soothing, and it did get rid of my pimples after a few days. Next, we have the Inkey List Hydrocolloid Invisible Pimple Patches. These I actually purchased at Sephora, and again, we do have two different sizes, the 10mm and the 12mm here, but this one actually comes with 22 patches. This was $9, so it wasn't terrible. And this also has some skincare ingredients in it. So it has the hydrocolloid to draw out the gunk. It does have 0.4% salicylic acid, 0.4% succinic acid, I never know how to say that one, and 0.2 ectoin. So there are a lot of really good benefits to all of these. And again, it has a very thin feel to it. So these were pretty invisible. I would say not as invisible as the Purito ones, but I did find that with all of these different skincare ingredients in it, I think that my pimples would kind of heal over a lot faster. For me, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, with pimple patches, I do find that if I kind of like prick the whitehead first and then put a pimple patch on it, it sucks out all the gunk all at once versus having to do it like multiple nights in a row. So this was really nice for just sucking out all of the gunk and then kind of healing that acne spot there. So sometimes I would put this on and I wouldn't have any lasting acne scars. So that was really nice. I would repurchase this. I wish that there were more patches in here, honestly. I feel like I went through this fairly quickly. As someone that's acne prone, I think I went through it fairly quickly. If you have a pimple here and there, you know, maybe this will last you a lot longer. But I liked it because it was convenient. Like I could easily purchase it at Sephora versus like an Asian brand where I would have to buy it at Yes Style or like a local Asian store, but that would be a little bit more pricey. So I don't know, I would purchase these again for sure. And a couple of empties that of course, we've talked about previously. My BOKA toothpaste, I talk about this every empty, my favorite toothpaste. It is the one toothpaste that helps prevent my cavities, and it's more of a natural route when it comes to toothpaste. And then my Neutrogena makeup wipes, I don't use this on my face. I use it for swatches whenever I do videos, whenever I take photos, like PR photos and stuff. It's really convenient for that, but I'm starting to really get tired of the smell of these guys. I bought like a big box of these at Costco, and I think this is is I'm on my last pack, or maybe my second to last pack. And after that, I think I may get a different makeup wipe for a little while for my videos because the smell of these are starting to get to me. All right, and moving on to our last category, which is body care. Actually, second to last category. Let's talk about the one thing I have in hair care. It's the Moroccanoil Protect and Prevent Spray. This is a Color Treat hair protectant for like heat and stuff. I got this as a gift. Oh, for my birthday gift at Sephora. I got this shampoo, conditioner, and then this spray. I love Moroccanoil products because they smell so good. They smell so nostalgic. I've been using Moroccanoil products for years and years, and I will never get tired of that like classic Moroccanoil scent. It smells so good, and I loved this. I feel like it made my hair less frizzy, and even though I don't have color treated hair anymore, I feel like it still made my hair look really glossy, very shiny and smooth. And again, I think that it like helped with frizz. I'm not entirely sure, but I liked it enough to where I would buy the full size, especially because this spray, like the scent of it lasted in my hair, and I love it. Okay, now on to body care, which is our last topic. So firstly, I want to talk about this Necessaire body butter. I loved this body butter. I'm sorry, it says body cream, but it's basically a body butter. So this is fragrance free. You can see completely empty. I use this up completely, and this is my ideal body butter texture. While I love the Fenty Beauty body oil, that one is a body oil cream type of thing. Like you can feel the oils in that one, and it leaves you feeling very hydrated, like you used an oil. But this one is just a really thick lotion, but it actually felt like it absorbed into the skin, and it didn't leave you feeling greasy. It absorbed very quickly, so you could like quickly put on your clothes and stuff. But when I would wake up in the morning after putting this on, I still felt like my skin felt really, really soft and hydrated. I loved the way that this like spread onto the skin. It absorbed really easily. I didn't find that, you know how sometimes when you have a really thick body butter and you have to like rub and rub and rub to get like the white residue off of your skin? I didn't have that issue whatsoever with this. This was so easy to just like put all over the body after a shower. And I like that it was fragrance free because I was able to use this, layer it with the fragrance if I wanted to, and my fragrance would last even longer. I just really enjoyed this because of the ease of use of it. It's such a nice, like classy bottle here, or jar. It's not the most travel friendly, but I will say it was definitely one of my absolute favorite body butters this year so far. And I really want to purchase another one because it was just so good. And to kind of couple that, we have the Necessaire's The Body Lotion. This was my travel lotion. I really enjoy this one as well. It is slightly less thick than the body cream, but it's still just as hydrating. It's really, really nice if you want something that is no fuss. You could just rub this into the skin. It would absorb very quickly. And again, fragrance free, so I could layer this really easily with any fragrance that I wanted to. It's just one of Necessaire's best products in my opinion. I mean, couple it with the shampoo and conditioner, and then the exfoliator, and then the lotions. I loved these. I think that they're so easy to use, and it's just, I don't know, they're really easy to just grab and go. Next, I just have this little mini L'Occitane milk concentrate. This is basically just like a deluxe sample size version of the almond, like the milk concentrate almond, that lotion that's in a jar, you know? Nice and thick, but it's slightly thin. I don't know how to explain this. So when you rub it into the skin, it feels really thin, but once it's completely absorbed into the skin, it feels like a little thick, really, really hydrating type of thing. This is nice, but I can kind of get tired of the scent of this. Like, it smells really good, smells really luxe, but at the same time, sometimes I didn't really want to smell like it. So I don't know. It's really good if you want something that's very, very hydrating and you enjoy this scent. It's kind of like an almond scent. It's more on the strong side, I will say, when it comes to scent. So sometimes I would be in the mood for it, sometimes I wouldn't. You definitely have to be in the mood to smell like, you know, almonds. And lastly, I have this Maelys Get Cheeky Enriched Cellulite Oil. I use this actually on my thighs and my butt for quite some time. Like, I completely use this up until, if you can see right there, there is product right there. It completely solidified in there to where I had to like scrape it out with the applicator. And honestly, I just got tired of doing that. So I went ahead and I called it an empty because I was using a different Maelys oil. It's the one in the orange bottle. And I was testing the two against each other. And I will say that this one is more of an oil residue. So it definitely feels like an oil when you put it onto the skin. I liked to use this right after the shower. I would pump some in my hand and I would put it all over my thighs, behind my thighs, and like on my butt and stuff. And then I would just let that completely dry before getting dressed. I found that if I didn't do that, it would get a little oily on my clothes and stuff. So I didn't really like that. But I will say, I feel like this actually really helped to hydrate my skin, and it felt like it actually tightened the skin there. I don't know how to explain it. I kind of feel like I was allowing the skin to get more plump and hydrated in those areas, you know, so the cellulite wasn't as noticeable. Maybe that's the reason it was working. I don't really know. I don't know too much about what's in here, like off the top of my head. Whenever I first purchased it though, I did read about it and I was really interested. That's why I tried it out. I bought this at Ulta whenever it was 50% off, like earlier this year. And I did like it. I do like it. Oh, the other one is called Relure, but I think I like that one a little bit more because it does dry down a lot faster. It's more of a serum versus an oil. So I like this enough. I feel like it does work. So if you like a body oil after your shower, if you don't mind that feeling, this would be a really good option for you. But if you want something that's a little more quick dry, then I would recommend the orange Relure one. Alrighty guys, and those were all of our empties this time around. Like I said, I feel like I didn't have as many empties this time, but I do feel like there were a lot of products this time that I would definitely repurchase, and or I already started to use like my backups of. So that makes me really happy. I feel like we're going through, you know, like a good amount of products every quarter, but let me know what you guys have recently emptied and all of your thoughts on them. I would love to know what you guys have on rotation, what you constantly empty, and maybe let me know something that you recently finished and you weren't a huge fan of. I would also love to know that as well. If you guys like this video, if you found it enjoyable or helpful, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!